Hi, I have a question for you. Does it feel gross or maybe even braggy to share in your wins, joys, and successes in your life? Do you desire to feel comfortable with acknowledging your wins? Do you accomplish something really big and then you don't even celebrate it with yourself or acknowledge the accomplishment you just had, and you struggle with celebrating wins within yourself or sharing it with others? Well, if that's the case, you're in the right place, okay? We are going to be talking about how do we feel comfortable expressing our joy, our successes, our acknowledging our wins, just all of that. It can be a block that we have, and I want you to stay tuned if that's something you struggle with, and we're going to talk about ways that we can start to inch towards being more comfortable expressing our joy. First, there's what I think are basically like two parties in this topic, okay? One is somebody who you find that maybe they brag all the time. You're at a party, they're the guy talking about all the cool wins, like it just has this ooey vibe to it. Or maybe they are somebody who is on social media a lot and they're posting and bragging, or it feels braggy, right? And these are people that behind the post or the share in the conversation, it feels braggy, right? And it feels more like a look at me energy or vibe to it, right? There's a difference between that. That is something that is usually being done in an effort to raise status or to feel more important, to feel more worthy. And all of us really can usually tell when that is the energy behind somebody's share, whether it's online or in person, right? You know that person. So that's what I would call ego-based share, and that is something that I received some help getting clarification on that recently in my own lesson. So the second party would be what I would like to call a heart-led share. Instead of ego, it would be from the heart, where this is something that has happened and you just feel the need to share and express it because it's exciting, it feels good, and you want to feel it even more intensely. Our feelings expand when we share it with others, right? So we are naturally inclined to want to share our joys, and that is from the heart. So those are the two parties. So recently, very recently, this last week, I was doing an I Spy Joy challenge from my previous episode 2 weeks ago, where I was challenging people to post and express joy that they had in their life, moments of joy. Like you saw something, you set an intention to see this thing that brings you joy, and you see it and you express it. You post it, share it with other people, right? And I went through that experience and was like, this is easy for me because I'm super comfortable with like those daily moments, like the hummingbirds or my roses are blooming, or if you know me, it's all about my Hoya plant that's blooming like crazy that I absolutely love, brings me so much joy. Okay. Anyways, so all of those kinds of things, or like posting about my grandkids, those feel really easy to post and share those joys. And we went on a trip. So I'm going to share a little story. We went on a trip last week, and there's a reason I'm sitting in the garage, and we'll get into that later. But I went on a trip with my hubby and some friends, and we went to Nashville, and I've never been there before. And then we went up to Bowling Green, Kentucky, and we went up there to do what's called it's a National Corvette Museum delivery of the car that's behind me. And it was super exciting. It was something we were waiting over 3 years for. And when we first saw it on a trip to Vegas to SEMA, we saw it and we're like, that is amazing. What a cool thought to have that car. That must be so cool. Anyways, it was a dream. Anyways, it is sitting behind me now. And I realized that this is something that, so day of it happening, I'm in the middle of the I Spy Joy Challenge week that I initiated on my social media. And I was sitting there waiting, or I was sitting somewhere waiting, and I was struggling with trying to decide what to post that day for my joy. And I texted a friend and said, hey, I'm struggling with figuring out a post today because like we've been in this big event, personal event, and it just feels so huge. And so I was really distracted today. And she was like, "Why wouldn't you be sharing about what you did today? Like why isn't that the share for your joy? It's massive. That's like huge joy." And I was like, "Oh, I don't want to feel braggy. That just doesn't feel good." And her response set me in line. And it just was kind of a check for me and a reminder. And she said, maybe it's actually hard for other people to share their joy. Maybe the block that you're feeling and the resistance you're sharing, and sharing a big, massive life event that is bringing you massive joy, feels really uncomfortable. Like maybe other people feel that way even about little moments of joy in their life, or little things that they accomplish, or even, just maybe you wrote up your first sale in real estate, or maybe you just hit your personal best in lifting weights, or you just finished your first half marathon and you don't even feel comfortable sharing that joy with people. You just kind of keep it under wraps, So I was like, oh my gosh, like here I am trying to lead by example, and I'm uncomfortable sharing a massive joyful moment in my entire life. And like I cried in public when we walked in and saw the car for the first time. That much joy. So, wow, I'm like totally tuned into the moment. But anyways, vulnerable moment. So it was just like, what in the world? Like, why is this so hard for me? It's really easy to share small joys for me, but I looked back and thought, I've always kind of tried to not be braggy because that's ewy, and was like, oh my gosh, like that's true. So that kind of stuck with me. And then we're gonna fast forward to that it's time to drive home. And we are en route, so we've driven one day. We had a 3-day drive, and we second more day, I am getting ready for the day, and I slipped in the bathroom getting ready to get in the shower, and I violently jammed my big toe and my second toe on my right foot. And I mean violently. Like I was crying and rolling around on the bed. Oh, it was so painful. So anyways, I can't drive now. My first thought was my throttle foot. Like, no. So I was pretty torqued off. So anyways, we get in the car, and I tried putting my foot on the throttle, the gas pedal, and it hurt so bad. My foot was so swollen, and I was like, what in the world is this all about? And so I journaled, and as a passenger, because I couldn't drive, and I was like, okay, what is my body trying to tell me? I need to know what my toes saying. Why did I jam my toes? So fast forward again, and I was listening to an online video, and the subject of our body talks to us and gives us messages came up. So I decided to Google what the big right toe and second toe represented, and you're never going to believe this. The big right toe represents the expression of your joy. Okay. Okay. Second is tied to your desires and wishes. I was like, mind blown. I was like, okay, so I literally am jamming in or down my massive joys. I'm not sharing all my joys. I'm not sharing all the things that bring me joy and that I'm passionate about. I'm still filtering and not being fully myself. Do this, and just in life in general, depending on who I'm with, I might like not share about things that are other parts of me. So I was like, oh my gosh, I jammed my toe so it just made sense. Like that's like I'm jamming my expression of joy down. Oh my gosh. So now I'm home, and I'm talking with somebody that I know, and she has a 5-year-old daughter, and I was sharing this story and how I found it quite funny and ironic. And she said, I was trying to model being confident and like owning the things I'm good at. So I was modeling like, oh yeah, I feel really good about that. Look what I just, I'm really glad I just accomplished that. I'm really proud of myself. That's not verbatim, but that is the idea around it. And she said that her 5-year-old daughter responded with something like, I can't remember the exact words, you're like, Mom, you're being braggy, or don't be braggy. And it was kind of like this aha moment for me again, where it was like, oh my gosh, at 5 years old, that young, once they start in school, like kids are getting programmed that like it's braggy and gross and like not cool, or like you gotta fit in, like don't be too fully yourself, like gotta fit in, right? And it really made me sad in a way, and I thought I need to be brave. Sounds so cheesy. And just like be willing to show. So here I am. This is my being brave, is being out in the garage, which is my happy place, one of my many happy places, because it has the things that make me super happy are right next to me. And so I was like, fuck it, I'm coming out to my happy joy place. So here I am as a part of my first act of expressing my joy by being out here. And so what I wanted to share is in 2016, I went to a Tony Robbins, which I've probably mentioned in other episodes. I went to a Unleash the Power Within, and we did firewalk and all this stuff. But one of the huge tools that changed my life that I thought I should share this is that the very first baby step I took in starting, because there was a point in time where I was accomplishing things. I was reaching financial goals I had never done. I paid off a bunch of debt from a really tough financial time in my life. And I was reaching goals that I had not thought I could do. And life was feeling really good and blessed. And I didn't even acknowledge that. I wasn't acknowledging those wins. I wasn't celebrating. And there was a guy named Joseph McClendon. He comes on to this event and he just drilled into us day after day, like, celebrate your wins, celebrate your wins. And he's like, little ones, big ones, all of them, you need to celebrate your wins. So he's like, okay, so this is what it looks like. Like, okay, I just went for a walk. I committed to taking a walk today, and I got back to the house, and he would have us do this. Good job, self. Like, nice work. Or we would do this one a lot too. I freaking rock. And so we did it so many times that by the time the event was over, it kind of got ingrained in my brain. So when I got home and I was doing stuff, I caught myself going, yes, or I freaking rock, or yeah, like pat myself on the back. And I got looks. I definitely got people like, what are you doing? That's weird. And I'm like, it's not weird. Like, I'm proud of myself. I just did something that was hard and I'm proud of myself. So he talked about, like, start with the tiny thing. It's every little thing. I got out of bed today. I got up when my alarm went off. Yeah, I worked out. Yeah, whatever the thing. Like, you can't start celebrating, like, a big goal that you've attained if you can't even celebrate your little fucking wins and commitments and things that you do. If you can't even do that, then how the hell are you going to enjoy something like a big life dream or goal, right? Like, it makes it really hard. And so I wanted to share that step, that, like, start with a baby step of just doing the I freaking rock, or yes, or I did such a good job, yeah, or dancing up and down, woo, yelling. But he talked about, like, the physical movement. So you probably noticed I had a gesture with my body and I voiced something out loud. It's not just inside your head. It just does not have the same effect. Like, this is me celebrating in my head. Okay, no, that's not as powerful as me being like, I freaking rock! Yeah! Do they feel different to you? So I would just really encourage you to be brave enough to verbalize and physically move with the celebration. And if you're somewhere where you can't yell or do it, you can whisper it, but just get it out of your mouth. Mouth it if you have to, but make a physical gesture. Excuse yourself to the bathroom. Step somewhere you can do it, but get in the habit of celebrating the tiny baby step wins with yourself. So you got to get comfortable celebrating joy, wins, accomplishments, acknowledging it with yourself first, okay? And that's where we got to begin. Second is that we need to start to get comfortable sharing that joy with others, our trusted, safe friends and family. And that might be one-on-one, in person, just getting comfortable being like, do you know what I did today? Like, I actually did 10 miles when I was training for my half marathon. Like, that's the furthest I've ever run. Start there. So just getting comfortable sharing with the people close to you and actually doing it on purpose, because it's something we don't all do naturally. It also might be a win. A celebration might be like, maybe it's a little bit longer. Maybe you decided you were going to do like a month of yoga every day and you finish it. Having a reward planned for the end where it's a celebration. Okay, when I do that 3 days of yoga, I'm going to go and have a nice dinner, or whatever the thing is you might want. You're buying a new pair of yoga pants, whatever the thing is. Having a celebration plan that you have to look forward to can also be helpful, but just getting really comfortable and intentional about setting up a celebration and wins and acknowledging. So now we're growing and expanding our capacity to have those positive emotions inside our life and our body. And we have to start small with ourselves, then we have to expand it. So we're expanding by sharing with others. And then it might be that you're sharing in groups or online or on social media. And I think that's kind of where I'm at a block, that like I'm totally comfortable with the people I feel safe with, but like putting it out on social media to people that feels really public and very vulnerable for some reason. And so these, I think that that comes from a few things. So one would be like, we don't want to feel like we are appearing we feel unworthy. So we have a reluctance to share because we're not feeling worthy of the thing we've accomplished, done, or received, or been blessed with, or experiencing. So it can come from that unworthiness. Okay, so first thing that could be causing us to not want to celebrate joy is feeling unworthy. So that would look like the form of like, don't acknowledge your wins and your accomplishments and blessings, right? That can come from unworthiness. Our second one would be like, don't openly celebrate, because then you might be perceived as too much and you might be needy for attention. You might be having that look at me energy. So that might be another message we're believing inside that kind of blocks us from sharing and expressing our joy. Another one I'm guilty of is don't share your excitement over things that you're really passionate about in your life because you fear judgment from others about how passionate you are about certain things you're interested in. For instance, me and motorsports, or I also love woo-woo stuff. I love the gift that I have of being intuitive medium, and the pleasure and passion and joy I feel around giving messages to people and watching them heal is such a gift, and I feel reluctant to share that about myself. I feel sometimes like I feel reluctant sharing how I feel like I have such a blessed, close knit family, and the joy I have and the connection I have with my kids and grandkids just feels so immensely wonderful that sometimes I want to braggy, right? But these are all things I'm really passionate about, but I can sometimes feel reluctance because I fear judgment of others, like who we should not be caring. The more ourselves we are, the better, right? So that fear of judgment is me wanting to fit in, right? And we're taught at 5 years old in school, like that girl, that we want to fit in, and that is actually part of our long history. You wanted to fit in because that's how you got taken care of back in the old times, where you needed the society and you needed the clan you were in to survive. You needed to be accepted, right? That it does come from our DNA that we want to, but it also has come at a price, right? So I was just thinking, like, I don't want to be vanilla. I love to use ice cream as metaphors. I don't want to be vanilla anymore. I want to be mint chocolate chip, and I want all the fucking toppings. I love the fudge, all the things. Just the more the better. That sounds so good. I need it to be dairy free. Sugar can be there. But anyways, I don't want to be vanilla, right? So the more I'm expressing the things I'm joyful and passionate about, the less vanilla I am. And I think that as the more we get comfortable doing that, we're leading by example that allows other people to feel permission that they get to express their joys, acknowledge their wins, and not feel like they're going to be perceived as braggy, because it's a heart-centered share where they want to share their pleasure and their joy. And so coming from that heart place and not the ego place, that we can lead by example to do that. If any of these things are pain points for you, the fear of judgment, feeling unworthy, and just really struggling with, feeling like people are going to think you want attention, that you look needy, I want you to try these steps. One being starting small, celebrating with yourself first. I freaking rock, right? We're doing a gesture, we're saying out loud, we're acknowledging and celebrating our small wins with ourselves first. Second, getting comfortable sharing with people we feel safe with, friends and family, keeping it tight. You can start sharing there. And then third would be like putting it out there in the world, whether that's in groups when you're out and about, or if it's online in other forums. Then those are ways you can be brave and share it, but just in your daily life, that you're living it out, right, by example. And if those are pain points, let's work our way there. And I know I talk with my hands a lot, but I'm gesturing like starting at one end and kind of working our way to the other. It's about getting comfortable, and we got to get comfortable acknowledging and celebrating our wins, our joys, our blessings, our accomplishments, just all that joy and good stuff. We have enough of the negative shit in our lives. We get bombarded with lots of negative. Let's be the people pushing out joy, seeking joy, expanding our capacity to have joy in our lives and express it and share it with others. Let's be the people. Let's be that crew. Let's be that message out there, because there's just enough of the other crap, right? So if you have any thing that you're passionate about, or you've had a recent win, you've reached a huge goal, anything like that, I would so love to hear in comments, emails. You can get on my Instagram Powered by Joy podcast page and share with me some of your any of your wins. I would absolutely love to hear and see you celebrating and sharing your joys. And let's be the leaders of seeking joy and expressing it. And if that's something you just feel like, man, I'm really struggling, I need some extra help, you can certainly go into the description and find a way to contact me and book some one-on-one time, and we can dive into it a little deeper and see like where is that source coming from and how can we start practicing it. Sometimes we have to have someone help lead the way. So I want to thank you for joining me in yet another episode. I will see you next week on Tuesdays. We have new episodes, and I am excited that we're going to start spreading joy. We're going to be rebellious, and I'm going to dare you to spread joy with me, even the big stuff. That's why I'm out here, is my first act of rebellion, and sharing our big joys, our little joys, all of it. So I hope you have an amazing week. Mwah!